You know this hour. The house so quiet you can hear the refrigerator hum. The clock on the wall ticking like it's the only thing still moving forward. You reached for your phone to text them before you remembered. Again. And now you're lying here in the deep dark, chest tight, eyes burning, wondering how the world just kept going after it ended for you. If that's you tonight, friend, let's pause right here. Let's breathe. And let's pray. Sacred presence, I come to you in the middle of the night, in the middle of the ache, because I don't know where else to put this. I don't know how to hold it anymore. So I'm bringing it to you the way you bring something too heavy for one set of arms, to the only person you trust to help carry it. Great light, you already know the name I whisper into this dark room. You know the empty chair. You know the coat still hanging by the door that nobody's touched in weeks. You know the voicemail I haven't deleted because deleting it feels like losing them twice. You know the specific shape of this absence, the exact size of the space they used to take up in a room, in a Tuesday, in a life. Tonight, I don't need answers. I don't need a reason, a lesson, or a silver lining. I just need somewhere to set this down, even for a few minutes before I pick it back up again in the morning. I don't come to you tonight with clean, tidy words. I come with whatever this is. Half grief, half anger, half exhaustion, all of it tangled together in a way I can't separate into neat pieces. I trust you can meet me in the tangle. I trust you don't need me to sort myself out before I'm allowed to speak. So we pause here together, all of us who are awake when the world is asleep, all of us who are carrying a name in our chest tonight. Some of you lost someone weeks ago and the shock hasn't worn off yet. Some of you lost someone years ago, and tonight, for no clear reason, the grief showed up fresh again like it forgot how much time had passed. However long it's been for you, however it happened, we pause here together. We breathe and we let ourselves feel exactly what we feel. No pretending, not here, not with you, divine. This grief is heavy. It sits on my chest like something physical, like a hand pressing down every time I try to take a full breath. My jaw is tight. My shoulders are up around my ears, and I don't even notice until they ache. If you're feeling that too right now, let your shoulders drop. Just an inch. Unclench your jaw. Let your hands open in your lap instead of curling into fists. We're not fighting this tonight. We're just going to feel it together. With you holding us, Holy Spirit of all things, I feel the anger too, if I'm honest with you. And I want to be honest with you tonight, more than anything else. Angry that the phone doesn't ring with their voice anymore. Angry at doctors, at time, at a body that gave out, at a decision that can't be undone, at a driver, an illness, an accident, 100 small things I can't even fully name because naming them makes them too real. I bring you my anger too. Not because it's pretty, because it's real and you can hold real things. You've never once asked me to only bring you the parts of myself that look acceptable. I feel the guilt. The last conversation that wasn't long enough. The visit I meant to make next month. The words I didn't say out loud when I had the chance because I thought there'd be more time. Because there's always supposed to be more time. Creator, I lay that guilt down too. I don't know how to forgive myself yet. Maybe tonight I don't have to. Maybe tonight I just have to hand it to you and let you hold it instead of my own two hands, which are so tired of holding everything alone, which ache from gripping something they were never built to carry by themselves. I feel the loneliness in rooms that used to be full, in a car that's too quiet now, without the radio station they always changed, in a bed that has a whole extra half no one sleeps in anymore, cold on a side that used to be warm. God of my quiet moments, you know this loneliness by name because you know my name. And you have not left this room even though it feels like everyone else eventually does. Even though the phone calls get fewer. Even though people stop asking how I'm doing after the first few weeks. As if grief has a calendar it's supposed to obey. I feel the numbness too some days. The strange flatness where I expected to feel something and instead felt nothing at all and then felt guilty about that too. Holy Spirit of all things, meet me in the numb days as much as the raw ones. Both are grief. Both are allowed here. We surrender the weight of this loss to you now. Not because we're done grieving. We're not. And we may not be for a long, long time. Maybe not ever completely. but because we can't carry the whole thing standing up on our own two legs one more night without setting some of it down first. I set down the guilt about the last words, the ones I wish I'd said and the ones I wish I'd taken back. I let it leave my hands one finger at a time. Even though my grip wants to stay closed around it, I set down the anger at what I can't change, the diagnosis that came too late, the accident that happened in a single second, the years that felt shorter than they should have been. Sacred presence. I release my grip on it, even if just for these next few minutes, even if I pick some of it back up tomorrow. I set down the fear of forgetting their voice, their laugh, the specific way they said my name that no one else says quite the same. Hold that fear so it doesn't calcify into something colder, something that makes me afraid to even remember them at all. I set down the question of why. Why now? Why them? Why this way? The one I keep turning over at 2 a.m. like a stone with no other side to look at. I don't need the answer tonight. I need the ache to loosen, even slightly, even just enough to breathe one full breath without it catching halfway. I set down the responsibility of being strong for everyone else in the family, the friends who keep asking if I'm okay when I don't have an honest answer, the version of myself that has to hold the funeral together, plan the service, answer the same condolences 50 times a day with a steady voice. Tonight in this prayer, I don't have to be strong. I just have to be honest. I set down the comparison in my head, the voice that tells me other people grieve better, faster, more gracefully than I am, the voice that says I should be handling this differently. There is no right way to do this. I set that voice down too. I set down the fear of the future without the minute, the milestones they'll miss, the ordinary years ahead that suddenly feel unfamiliar, because I imagined them differently, with a specific person in the picture who isn't there anymore. God of my quiet moments, I don't ask you to remove that fear tonight. I only ask you to sit with me inside it, so I'm not facing that unfamiliar future entirely alone. I set down the exhaustion of grieving in front of an audience, the well-meaning questions, the sympathy cards, the small talk at a funeral I could barely stand through. Let me have somewhere, even if it's only here in this prayer, where I don't have to manage anyone else's comfort with my pain. We lay all of it, every specific weight, every private grief, every unsaid thing, every regret and every rage is at your feet, not to erase it, just so we don't have to hold it standing up alone in the dark for one more sleepless hour. And now, Divine, we ask for the smallest kind of peace tonight, not the peace that pretends nothing happened, not the peace of forgetting, but the peace that lets a tired body finally rest. Let this ache in my chest loosen enough that I can take one full breath without it shaking on the way out. Let my mind stop replaying the last hospital room, the last phone call, the last ordinary Tuesday I didn't know was the last one until it already was. Grant us the mercy of 1 hour of dreamless sleep tonight. Just 1 hour where grief isn't standing guard at the door of my mind, where my body gets to rest even if my heart hasn't caught up yet. Fill me with the strength to get through tomorrow morning, the specific, dreaded moment when I open my eyes and remember all over again in that first half second before the world rushes back in and grief introduces itself again like it's the first time. Meet me in that half second, God of my quiet moments. Be the first thing that's there before the grief is, even just for one breath. I pray for the people I love who are also grieving this loss with me, for the ones who go quiet in a different room, for the ones who cry in the car so no one sees, for the ones who throw themselves into busyness because stillness hurts too much, for the ones who seem fine but aren't, for the ones who are barely holding it together in front of the children. Hold every one of us the way we each need to be held tonight, even though we're all grieving differently, even though grief doesn't move the same way through any two people in the same family. Let all of us grieve without shame. Let there be room for the ugly kind of crying, the kind that doesn't look graceful, the kind that happens in a bathroom with the water running so no one hears. Let there be room for the days we laugh at a memory and then feel guilty for laughing, like joy is a betrayal. Let there be room for both grief and laughter. To sit in the same room without either one canceling the other out. I ask for a soft place, to land when the missing hits hardest, in a grocery store aisle in front of their favorite brand of coffee, in a song on the radio I can't turn off fast enough, in a smell that isn't theirs, but is close enough to undo me completely in a parking lot. In those moments, great light, meet me there. Steady my hands. Let me not be embarrassed by tears in public places, or by needing to sit down for a minute until the wave passes. Grant me one true memory tonight, not the hospital, not the phone call, not the last hard weeks that are so loud in my mind lately, but an easy one. The sound of their laugh at something small and dumb. The way they made coffee every morning without fail. The nickname only they used for me, the one no one else ever will. Let that be the memory that visits me tonight instead of the hardest one. I pray for the physical exhaustion grief brings, the kind that isn't fixed by sleep because the tiredness lives somewhere deeper than the body, in the muscles and the mind and the place behind the eyes. Restore what you can restore tonight. I know you can't undo the loss. I'm not asking for that. I know better than to ask for that. I'm asking for enough strength to face one more day, and then if I need it, one more after that, and then one more after that. Grant me patience with the people who say the wrong thing, who tell me it was for the best or ask if I'm over it yet, like grief has a finish line. Give me grace for their clumsy love, even when it lands wrong, even when their trying makes it briefly worse. And give me permission to walk away from conversations I'm not ready for yet, without guilt, without explanation. I ask that you hold whatever comes after this, the first birthday without them, the first holiday with an empty chair at the table, the anniversary of the day they left, the wedding they won't be at, the grandchild they'll never meet. I know those days are coming. I'm not strong enough to think about them tonight, so I'm handing them to you in advance. Meet me there when I get there, however far away that is. Let me remember that grief moving through me slowly is not weakness. Let me stop expecting myself to be better by any calendar date anyone else has drawn up for me. Let healing be allowed to take its own time, in its own shape, on its own schedule, without anyone, including me, especially me, rushing it or measuring it against someone else's timeline. I ask too, for the specific mercy of being able to talk about them without it always ending in tears. Not because the tears are wrong, but because I want to be able to tell their story, to say their name out loud in ordinary conversation, without the room going tense or my voice breaking every single time. Let their name become something I can say with warmth again in time. Even alongside the sadness, I pray for the anniversary of their passing, whenever it lands on the calendar again this year. The day my body seems to remember before my mind does. The day that feels heavier than every other day around it, for reasons I can't always explain to anyone else. Meet me there ahead of time so I'm not facing it cold. Grant me the ability to receive comfort in whatever form it comes. A hug I didn't ask for, a meal left on the porch, a text that just says thinking of you with nothing else attached. Let me not push it away out of pride or exhaustion. Let me let it in. I pray for the children in this story, if there are children, for their particular grief, which looks different from an adult's grief, which comes out sideways sometimes, in tantrums or silence or questions that catch us off guard. Hold them gently. Give the adults around them the patience and the words they need. Fill the space this loss has carved out with something other than only absence. I don't know yet what that will look like. I trust you'll show me slowly in your own time. Without me having to force it or fake it before I'm ready, I ask too, for the people around me who don't know what to say and so say nothing at all, soften the awkwardness between us. Let me not mistake their discomfort for a lack of love. And where I have the strength for it, let me be the one who reaches out first, even in the smallest way, even just to say I'm still here, still standing, still trying. I pray for the version of me on the other side of the worst of this grief, not the me who has forgotten, but the me who has integrated the loss into a life that's still worth living. I don't know her yet, I don't know him yet, but I trust that person exists somewhere ahead of me, and I trust you're walking me toward becoming them, one hard day at a time. Grant me small, specific signs along the way that I'm not walking this road for nothing. A memory that surfaces exactly when I need it. A stranger's unexpected kindness on a hard afternoon. A dream where I get to see their face again, even just for a moment. I don't need proof of anything. I just need to feel accompanied. Let me forgive myself for the days grief makes me short-tempered, forgetful, distracted, less than who I want to be for the people who still need me. Grief is not an excuse, but it is a reason, and I ask for grace in the gap between the two. I pray, finally, for hope, not the loud kind, not the kind that pretends this doesn't hurt, but the quiet kind that whispers that a life can hold both loss and joy at once, that I will laugh again without it feeling like a betrayal, that love like this doesn't end, it only changes address. Let that quiet hope be enough to get me through tonight, and then through tomorrow, and then slowly, through all the tomorrows after that. If you're praying this with me right now, add your own name to this prayer. Say it, even just in your head right now, the name of the person you lost. Let it sit in this quiet room with you and with God for just a moment. You don't have to say anything else, just their name held in this quiet, held by someone bigger than both of us, someone who isn't asking you to explain the loss or justify how much it still hurts. We ask, too, for the ordinary mercies, a friend who calls at exactly the right moment, a night where sleep actually comes without effort, a morning where the first breath doesn't hurt quite as much as yesterday's did, a small unexpected kindness from a stranger who has no idea what today is for me. Small things. We're not asking for the loss to be undone. We know that's not how this works, however much we wish it were. We're asking for enough light to take the next step, and then the one after it, and then, eventually, the one after that. We ask for the courage to keep the memory alive without letting it freeze us in place, to look at old photographs without it wrecking an entire day, to keep a few of their things without turning a whole room into a shrine we're afraid to enter, to find a way to carry them forward with us, instead of only backward into what was. Grant us the ability to sit with the silence in this house, without it swallowing us whole. Let the quiet stop feeling like an accusation. Let it slowly become something closer to peace, instead of something that only reminds me who's missing. I pray for the practical weight too, the paperwork with their name still on it. The phone plan I don't know how to cancel yet. The closet I can't bring myself to touch. The email still arriving addressed to them, like the world hasn't caught up to what happened. Give me the strength to face these small, brutal logistics one at a time, on my own timeline, without anyone rushing me to deal with it. Let all of us feel permission to change our minds about how we grieve. Some days I want to talk about them constantly. Some days I can't bear to hear their name. Let both be allowed. Let neither be wrong. I ask for protection over my thoughts in the hardest hours. The ones where grief tempts me toward despair I know isn't the whole truth. Where the loneliness whispers that no one else could possibly understand this specific ache. Quiet that whisper, divine. Remind me gently that I am still wanted here, still needed here, still loved here, even in the middle of losing someone I loved so completely. Grant me the grace to receive help when it's offered, the meal a neighbor brings, the ride to an appointment, the friend who just wants to sit with me in silence. Let me stop insisting I'm fine when I'm not. Let me let people in, even when it's easier to close the door. I pray for my body in all of this, for the appetite that disappeared, for the sleep that won't come easily, for the tension that settled into my back and my jaw and the base of my skull. Meet my body where it's struggling, not just my heart. Grief lives in both places, and I need healing in both places too. Fill me slowly, with small moments of relief scattered through the hard days. A warm cup of something, sunlight through a window, a song that used to hurt but today just feels like a memory instead of a wound. Let those small mercies keep arriving, even if I don't notice all of them at first. Divine, even here, even now, in the deepest part of this grief, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the years I did have with them. even though they weren't enough. Even though no number of years would have ever felt like enough. Thank you for the version of me that got to love someone that much, because loving them that deeply is exactly why this hurts this much now. The grief is the shape love takes when it has nowhere left to go, and I would rather feel this ache than have never known that love at all. Thank you for the people who've shown up, even imperfectly. The friend who just sat with me and didn't try to fix anything, who let the silence be enough. The stranger who let me cry in a parking lot without asking questions, who just handed me a tissue and looked away to give me privacy. Thank you for every small kindness that reminded me I'm not as alone as this night makes me feel. Thank you for photographs, for voicemails I haven't deleted, for handwriting on an old birthday card, for a sweater that still smells faintly like them if I don't wash it just yet. Thank you for the small physical proof that they were here, that this love was real, that I'm not making up how much it mattered, that it wasn't just in my head. Thank you, too, for the ordinary days we had before any of this, the boring Tuesdays, the small arguments over nothing, the routines I didn't know to treasure at the time. I see now how sacred the ordinary was. I didn't know it then. I know it now. Thank you for the way they showed love in their own particular language, the way they always called to check on me, the way they remembered small details about my life that I'd forgotten I'd even mentioned, the way their hands looked, doing something ordinary like folding laundry or fixing a hinge. Thank you for every small habit of theirs that is now, somehow, unbearably precious in its absence. Thank you for the version of them that lives on in me now, a phrase I catch myself saying in their voice, a way of laughing I didn't know I'd inherited until I heard it come out of my own mouth. A small kindness I do for someone else, because it's what they would have done. Thank you that love doesn't simply end when a life does. It moves. It finds new places to live. I trust you're holding them now, wherever now means for someone who's gone. I don't fully understand what happens after this life. I don't need a full theology tonight. I just need to trust that they're not lost to everything, only lost to me for now in this life, in this particular shape of missing them. I trust that this pain, sharp as it is tonight, will not always cut this deep. I don't believe it disappears completely. I believe, and I choose to trust, that it changes shape over time. That one day I'll remember them and feel more warmth than ache, more gratitude than grief. I'm not there yet. I may not be there for a long while, but I trust I'm moving toward it. Even on the nights it doesn't feel like movement at all. Even on the nights it feels like I'm sliding backward. I trust that you see every 2 a.m. moment like this one, every time grief wakes someone up out of a dead sleep, every time someone reaches for a phone to call someone who can't answer anymore, every time a person stands frozen in a grocery aisle because a smell brought everything rushing back. You see it. You're not far from it. You're not far from me. I trust that even the days I feel nothing toward you at all, no comfort, no closeness, just static, are still days you haven't moved away from me. Faith isn't a feeling I have to manufacture on command. I trust you understand the difference between distance and absence. I trust that grief and faith can live in the same chest at the same time. That doubting you doesn't mean losing you. That crying out in anger is still a kind of prayer, maybe one of the most honest kinds. That showing up here broken and tired and honest is enough tonight. It doesn't have to look like strength. It can look like this, quiet, dark, honest, and still reaching toward you even when I don't know exactly what I believe. Holy Spirit of all things, thank you for this pause, for this handful of minutes where the grief had somewhere to go besides just sitting silently in my chest. Thank you for meeting me exactly as tired and exactly as broken as I actually am tonight, and not asking me to perform anything different, not asking me to have it figured out, not asking me to be anything other than exactly this. And now as this prayer comes to a close, let a small blessing settle over this room, over this bed, over every person listening in their own version of this same dark night, in their own city, carrying their own name. May you feel, even faintly, that you are not carrying this loss entirely alone. May your body find rest tonight. Even if your heart hasn't caught up yet, may the next time you say their name, It costs you a little less than it does right now. May you be gentle with yourself in the exact moments you're tempted not to be, especially the small, private, 3 in the morning moments no one else will ever see. May you find somewhere in the weeks ahead one moment of unexpected lightness, and may you let yourself have it without guilt. May the ones you've lost never fully leave you. May they live on in a laugh, a gesture, a phrase, a recipe, a way of loving that you carry forward without even trying. Sacred presence, hold what I cannot hold tonight. Carry what I cannot carry. And when morning comes, however hard that first breath is, let me find you already there, waiting in it with me, the way you've been waiting in this dark room the whole time. Rest now. You are held. You are not alone in this room, and you were never alone in this grief.